22 years ago, this morning's guest and his wife took $100 and built a dream. Learn about DBS Communications and the 2005 South Carolina Black Family Expo. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning with the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the 2005 South Carolina Black Family Expo, and we're visiting with Larry Smith, the president, the vice president, excuse me. I got to be careful about that, the co-founder of the Black Family Expo. This is very exciting. Thanks so much for coming in.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Larry, it's amazing to think just last year when y'all were here promoting this, or when you were here promoting the event, and y'all had such an incredible turnout. Of course, without, I mean, you know, you've been doing this year after year and seen every year continue to grow.
Well, it has grown over the years, and we attribute that to the sponsors and the community involvement, and we think that it's just a workable situation for the whole community, and we try to create an exciting environment in the community.
And of course, your wife, when I mentioned co-founder, forgive me, Diana had been instrumental in making this happen.
Diana is more than my backbone. She is the person who takes my ideas and runs with them and supports me in 999%.
Wow, those are great words, Larry. It's a great thing to say. I hope my dad says the same thing about his wife. That's wonderful.
Well, you can't do these things without having a good partner. And not just my wife, but the other people that work in the organization are partners in the process. They take what we come to the table with and they run with it and they commit to it. And they put in hours and they put in time and they make sure it happens.
When was the first Black Family Expo?
The first Black Family Expo was last year, but we started about 12 years ago with a program called the South Carolina African American Women's Conference back in 1992 at the Florence Civic Center. At that time, we brought in Dr. Martin Luther King's daughter, Bernice King, and we had about 5,000 people for that particular event.
Is that right? Yes. Back in 1992?
Back in 92.
5,000 folks showing up for the first one. Of
Exactly.
course, when I said this has been going on year after year, I remember you all had kicked it off, albeit in another name.
Yeah, we started in another name, and it's kind of evolved because we started out addressing the concerns and the interests of women in our community, especially African American women. And as we moved through the process, we looked at the things that are happening with men and happening with young children in the community as well. And we realized that we needed to focus on them as well.
Right. Real quick about yourself, Larry. Are you originally from the area?
I'm originally from Columbia. Went to college in Columbia, went to Benedict College in Columbia. Was trained actually in sociology, but my passion has always been communications.
And of course, I think I saw earlier on, and remember from last year, been very involved in launching the Community Times in the PD area as well as the Upstate Times.
Well, we started about 22 years ago with a small media company on $100 in Columbia promoting Grapevine Magazine, which was our monthly publication. And we evolved into Florence about 4 years later, starting the Community Times newspaper. About 5 years later, we went into the Greenville market and started the Times Upstate, which is our weekly newspaper in the Greenville, Spartanburg, and Anderson market. And about 10 years ago, we started a publication called Black Book, which is our business directory for Eastern South Carolina, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. And we're now also evolving into websites and doing some things on the internet as well.
Great. So the Black Book kicked off almost a decade ago.
It kicked off a decade ago, and we are now the official minority publication of the Florence Chamber of Commerce. So we try to carry the information that's going on not just in our community but across the community, small business as a whole.
I think I saw you all have been very active kicking off First Friday.
First Friday has been a success story for us. We wanted to give back to our community. First Friday was an effort. First Friday is a monthly meeting, first Friday of each month. We come together with younger people in our community to have them, to help them have a networking opportunity to talk to people of like-mindedness and people who are professionals like themselves about things that are going on in the community, opportunities that are going on in the community, and it's worked excessively well in terms of bringing people in. Fortunately for us, it's also brought some older people in as well.
Is that right?
It has.
Good. You mean into the event itself?
Into First Friday and into community involvement. We don't do this as a fundraiser or anything. We do this to kind of let people know what's going on in the community and how to network with each other. And it's brought older people in as well as young people.
That's wonderful. This is for the Florence Area Chamber of Commerce.
Well, this is actually for the Florence area. It's not a chamber project.
Oh, good. Okay, forgive me. You had mentioned earlier the involvement with the Florence Area Chamber of or the Florence Chamber of Commerce.
We went to the Florence Area Chamber of Commerce about 3 months ago and asked them to get involved in Black Book. And their involvement in Black Book came in the way that they decided to make us their official minority business publication. So when they're talking to people outside of the community or they're talking to people inside the community, we're the publication that they give them to help them address the needs of diversity in the community.
That is wonderful. And you said it was 16 or more years ago that the Community Times kicked off. You said
18 years.
18 years ago.
18
Forgive
years,
me.
actually. We're in our 18th year.
Wow, congratulations.
And we came into Florence and looked around, and there was tremendous opportunity, and people are still finding that out about Florence, that there's tremendous opportunity. I was talking to a young lady at a restaurant the other day, and she told me that their restaurant was number 5 in sales in the country.
Oh, come on. In the PD?
In the PD. And it was a small restaurant. You would have never thought that was the case, but the franchise was number 5 in sales in the country.
Wow, that is fantastic. No matter what that is, I mean,
but it just shows you how businesses can grow in an area. You know, we have a 750,000 person base in the PD area. So when you look at people coming to Florence, we are the Mecca, we are the hub of the community, and a lot of people come there to shop and to dine and do things of that nature. So you can kind of see that happen.
Absolutely. And of course, your medical institutions up there, and
Superior.
many of which are longtime
Superior,
supporters of the Community Times as well as of the South Carolina Black Family Expo, to see McLeod Health and others instrumental.
McLeod Health, Marion Memorial, Carolinas Hospital Systems have all been strong supporters of us, not just from a Black Family Expo perspective, but from a newspaper perspective, from all the other programs that we've tried to do in our community.
And when did you said you kicked off the Times upstate, what year?
In 96, I think it was.
Okay, right.
In 95, 96, I think was the year
So
we started.
about a decade ago on that as well. That's
Exactly.
fantastic. What prompted that move into the upstate, Larry?
Well, we understand from a business perspective that if you don't grow, you kind of die. And so we needed to expand our business. When we looked in Columbia, and there was congestion there.
Right.
And we looked in the Charleston market, and my mentor was there, and I didn't want to go down and mess with him.
Right.
And so we looked into the upstate, and absolutely nothing was going on from a print perspective in the upstate. So we tried to buy into that particular formula. When we got there, we said, well, there's no competition. We'll be here for a few months, and we'll turn a profit. Well, it only took us about 8 to 10 years to get to that point. And we thought, well, we'll be there. It won't take long. I mean, there's nobody else out there.
Right.
And we're very, very blessed because Florence has been so strong and so supportive of us. We were able to carry ourselves in the upstate market for that period of time.
Right. And oftentimes folks wonder, how the heck can you keep something like that going for a long time without getting into a profitable mode? But at the same time, you know it's going to come. You just know it.
Well, if you're an astute business person, you understand that you have to invest in it. You have to invest your energy, and you have to invest your time. And overnight success is usually 10 years.
That's right. That's right. It's good to hear that from someone, particularly someone who recognizes himself or herself. I mean, that as an entrepreneur and a philanthropist, of course, to see DBSC really coming on strong. Y'all's growth over the last 22 years is amazing.
Well, we have tried to serve the needs of our community and try to understand. One of the things that we realize about especially the African American community is things happen from the bottom up, not from the top down. So you have to be on the grassroots level. You have to be out there with the people. You have to go out the door, have lunch in the right places, see the right people, talk to the right people, make your case to the right people all the time, and then give them a return on their investment. Because if you're not giving them a return on their investment, we find that you can't give them what you want to give them, which is traditionally what media wants to do. We think that there are important things that a community should have. They should know about the quality of education in their community. They should know about the quality of health care in the community. And we believe that too. But we also believe that if they want to know who went to jail, we should tell them that too. Because that's the thing that's going to get them to buy newspapers.
Absolutely.
And that works for us well.
For our viewers who may not have caught the Community Times, of course, we want to get into the South Carolina Black Family Expo, but for viewers who may not have seen the Community Times, or there must be multiple locations. Y'all both mail as well as
We
sell in multiple locations throughout the PD?
We do direct mail for the publication, but since we talked last year, we've expanded our distribution system. Primarily, we had been in the African American church and that was our basic form of distribution for about 16 years.
Right.
We evaluated that over the last few months and looked and said, no, that's not the only place we need to be.
Right.
And so now we're in almost every major retailer, grocery stores, convenience stores, hundreds of them throughout the PD and Grand Strand area. And we did that, and it's kind of changed the perspective. The visibility level has risen substantially because of that.
Absolutely. Do you all have is there a website that folks, you said there are multiple websites that you all have been involved in. Is there one that viewers could visit even to learn more about DBSC?
Well, there are several. There is SouthCarolinaDiversity.net, which is our primary website that talks about all the things that we're doing and looks at diversity across the state of South Carolina. Okay. And we're also introducing a diversity magazine for the state of South Carolina along with that particular website. Right. The expo itself has its own website, scblackfamilyexpo.com.
Okay.
And I'd like for people to log on and take a look at what's going on at the event. You can talk about it, and we can talk about what's going on at the event, but they can see the people who are coming. They can register if they want to be involved and participate in the event as well.
Absolutely. And of course, if viewers don't have access to the internet, is there a good phone number to call to learn more about the event?
Well, they can always reach us at 843-667-1818. Okay. That's our phone number, and they can reach us there 24/7.
Great. 843-667-1818.
Yes.
Okay. And they can obviously leave a message. If someone called this morning, they can leave a message. This is such an exciting event to know, again, that it has such a long history, albeit formerly under another name, having kicked off in '92. And now last year is its first big Black Family Expo. And, of course, now really being recognized statewide, the South Carolina Black Family Expo.
Well, it's a movement in the direction of empowering families and empowering individuals to do positive things in our communities. But it's also about fun. And that's what we're trying to do with this particular event, is make it as fun as possible. We've got a barbecue cook-off. The most interesting part that we think is going to be that we're inviting all the colleges across the state who have gospel choirs to compete in a competition for the best college gospel choir in the state of South Carolina. So we're having that competition as well. We've got Howard Hewitt, the entertainer, the rhythm and blues entertainer, and we've also got Davina McFadden, who is actually a native of this area and who also is a star on The Young and the Restless. But we've got a bike and car show. We've got a drum line. We've got a poetry slam. We've got a tennis festival. We've got a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. We are literally taking over Wilson High School that day.
It's on Saturday.
It's on Saturday, September 17th, yes.
Okay, great. And of course, you think about, you said, did you have basketball?
We have 3-on-3 basketball.
Get down. That'll be exciting.
We're gonna have the gym, and we're gonna put some 3-on-3 teams in there, and we're gonna let them go at it for a while.
How exciting. Of course, and tennis as well.
We're having a tennis. We don't want to call it a tennis tournament. It's more of a tennis festival. Mm-hmm. We want to get families involved, husband and wife doubles competition, father and son and parent and child doubles competition, so we can actually just show the beginning and the basic things about tennis to them.
That's exciting. Of course, having the college gospel choirs compete against each other will be very exciting from all over the state.
From all over the state.
Now, who do you have judging that, Larry? Have you all made that decision yet?
We're having music directors from all over the state to come in and judge. We wanted to have at least one person from each region of the state so we have impartial judges.
Good thinking. You mentioned your mentors down in Charleston. Who is that, Larry?
That is Jim French. Jim French publishes the Charleston Chronicle, which is an African-American newspaper in the Charleston area that's been there for, I think, about 32 or 33 years now.
Had you worked down there for a little while?
I never worked with him. When I decided to start the business, I spent a lot of time doing a lot of research and talking to a lot of people. And he was one of the people that I talked to who gave me the guidance and the direction that I needed.
That's exciting to find somebody like that and to know that he has provided that level of interest both for you, to provide a good source of information for you as y'all kicked off that publication many, many years ago.
Well, it's difficult, especially remember I told you I only had $100. so it's difficult to find free knowledge. Right. There's not a whole lot of people in business who want to share their knowledge with you because they realize they earn theirs and you should earn yours in some sense. And they're not going to just automatically walk up and give it to you. So you kind of have to go out there and find these people and work with people and show them that you are committed to the process.
Oftentimes, as you say, though, if you're in different parts of the state or different areas, they really want to see things take off. And I'm sure Jim French was that way.
Well, he was that way in the sense that he was a veteran of understanding, and his passion for journalism It's amazing. He loves it. He's been selected the best editorial writer in black newspaper in the country several times.
Wow.
He has a passion and he believes in what he does. And he only wanted to help people who believe in what they were doing, not from a business standpoint, not from a making money standpoint, but from spreading the word and getting the word out. And our mission originally and always will be is to try to educate and inform our community.
Absolutely. The Community Times.
Exactly.
That is very exciting. You know, as we break down the day, and I say the evening, you're talking about 10 a.m. kicking off, many of the events kicking off that early.
We've got 2 stages. Then we've got the outside. We've got, again, we've got the tennis courts. We've got the basketball courts. There are going to be a lot of things that are going to be running concurrently. And it's going to be fast-paced, and it's going to be incumbent upon a lot of people to try to keep up with what's going on,
Right, sure.
include myself. And the challenge basically is because there are so many things going on, we hope to draw, we hope the 7,000 people will come, but we think we can do better than that this year.
Yeah.
We think we can draw better numbers because we try to create something for everybody. And the Poetry Slam and the festivals and all of the other things that are going to be going on. We're bringing in local choirs and local groups to perform during the day as well.
Great.
So we're not leaving the local people out.
Does the high school have enough room for viewers who haven't been to the high school? Are viewers here on the Strand or in southeastern North Carolina or even some in the PD? If they haven't been, A, how easy is it to get to? And B, do they need to call you or go online ahead of time to make sure, are there entrance fees? What are the costs associated, or how's it going to happen?
Well, there are no interest fees for any of the events.
Okay.
We're not charging for any of the events.
Great.
So whether it's a gospel fest or whether it's the barbecue cook-off, we have sponsors that are going to be involved in most of those aspects. So we're not looking to make money from them. We are charging a $5 fee at the door and actually $3 for groups of 10 or more.
Okay.
So we want to make it very, very affordable.
Great.
Access to the facility, if you're coming into Florence and you come in on 20 or 95 or come in on 76 coming from the beach,
right,
or 501 coming from the beach, or 301, then you come into Irby Street,
okay,
go up to the Old Marion Highway, make a right, and you can't miss the school.
Okay, great. So real easy to get to.
But again, if you need information, just call our office or go to our website.
843-667-1818.
Exactly.
667-1818 and scblackfamilyexpo.com.
Exactly.
That's exciting. And of course, you know, when you break down, folks hear the word Poetry Slam, you got to let out the secret. What is a Poetry Slam?
It's a competition where poets get together and see who can outdo each other. We try to liken it to, I know that you've seen Deaf Poetry on HBO.
I have not.
Oh, it's a beautiful experience.
Really?
As a matter of fact, there are a lot of people who attribute a lot of things to Russell Simmons. The best thing I think Russell Simmons ever did was deaf poetry.
Rather than kicking off Run DMC.
Better than anything that he's done. If you've ever seen deaf poetry, it's an amazing thing. It's about people talking about who they are and what they feel and pouring their spirit out on a stage.
Really? That's fascinating. You know, when you think about, of course, events, anything, if folks hadn't watched it on HBO, you said deaf poetry.
Yeah, deaf poetry.
That's
and it's amazing. Well, you have HBO on demand, so I'll go back and watch 10 episodes at a time sometimes.
Right.
Because it's such an amazing
And
thing.
for viewers who hear you say deaf poetry, you're spelling that D-E-F as opposed to D-E-A-F, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, right, sure. So folks just need to get out to the Black Family Expo to see what it's really like on a local level.
Well, we've had the experience with it. We started out back in, I think, about 94. There's a young lady named Jessica Caramore who was a poetry slammer back then, and she won the Apollo 5 weeks in a row.
Wow!
And we brought her in to the African American Women's Conference at that particular time, and she wowed the crowd during that time as well. And so now she's so expensive. we caught it when she was a little less expensive.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the good things about this particular event. We like to catch people on their way up,
right,
and introduce the community and introduce South Carolina to those people as they're coming through.
But you make a very good point there. The need to pay a little bit to bring some very exciting folks in. There's a need to charge a little bit at the door. You said $5 per person, $3 for groups 10 or more. Churches, I assume, are encouraged to attend in groups?
We have a sponsorship rate for churches as well. I think it's $150, and they can get 25 people in, but they can also get a lot of other additives as well.
Great. You also said there's some sponsorship opportunities still available. I know the events in a little more than 3 weeks, but there's still some sponsorship opportunities.
There are still some sponsorship opportunities for people who are interested in sponsoring, whether they're a church, whether they're a community group, or whether they're a corporation here in this area or across the state of South Carolina. All they have to do is either contact us at 843-667-1818, or they can go to the website www.scblackfamilyexpo.com.
Okay. Let's break down last year's event a little bit. Talk about some of the exciting aspects for you, Larry. And, of course, since the African American woman, was it a writers event?
Women's Conference.
Women's Conference for so many years. I guess as a man you were involved on the back side, but not as much on the front side. But for an event like last year, what, of course, for you, the first year of the Black Family Expo?
The first year was as exciting as we thought it was going to be.
Really? Great.
It really was. They had to run us out the Civic Center about 8 o'clock. Now, remember, our deadline was 6 o'clock.
Right.
And we had so much going on. It rained, and so some of our children's activities were moved inside.
Oh, yeah.
And so we had instead of having dual stages, one outside and one inside, we had to kind of place all these people on the same stage.
Right.
But the draw, back during that time, we had an actual choir competition, a local choir competition, and we had some outstanding choirs from across the community to come in and compete. We had rap, we had hip-hop, you name it, it was going on during that day. And we had a pretty good crowd of people to come in.
Wow. I know, you talked about many, many, many folks. And when you think about an event like this, to try to plan for 7,000 people, you mentioned the word rain. If virtually everything, I guess except potentially tennis, can take place if there is rain. Of course, there will not be rain on September 17th in the PD area. That's right. But if there is, y'all are ready.
We are ready in the sense that, like I said, virtually everything else outside of tennis can take place, and hopefully we can get the tennis in between the raindrops. But beyond that, that's why we wanted to use the facility. We went to Wilson because we wanted to do so many things. Mm-hmm. And while the Civic Center is one of our sponsors and one of the people that we work with on a lot of projects, the diversity for us was not there. Okay. Because we want to bring so many things in and have so many things going on at one time. Wilson affords us an opportunity because it's all under one roof,
right.
To do those things.
Kicking off at 10 a.m., assumably would wrap up around what time?
We hope to wrap up around 6. Our best guess is that we'll probably get out there probably around 7:30 or 8.
Okay.
And it's kind of based on what's going on, how long the people who want to come in and sign autographs are going to be there to sign autographs. The challenge basically is we've seen situations where lines have been 4 or 5 hours long,
right,
according to who's coming in. We're still talking to talent about coming to this particular event.
Right.
We got some people that I can't mention that are some dynamite people in terms of coming to this event, signing autographs, and being involved in this process. And if we can get 1 or 2 of those people to come in beyond what we've already mentioned, we will have an evening where we might not get out there to 10 o'clock that night.
Wow, Larry. So it could be a 12-hour event.
It could be at least a 12-hour event.
But, of course, viewers need to plan on trying to be there between 10 and 6. They need to shoot for those times. If someone can't come in the morning and can only come, there's still some exciting events going on all day long.
That's the beauty of this. That 7,000 people will probably never be in there all at the same time.
Right, right.
The challenge basically is to get people who come in, see the vendors, see all the other things that are going on in the facility, and enjoy it for a couple of hours, and then go off and do some other things. Mm-hmm. So we hope to get a certain group in there for the gospel competition. We hope to get somebody in there for the barbecue cook-off, for the poetry slam, for some of the other things that are going on. And each person will come there with a particular purpose in mind.
Great. We just have a couple of minutes, Larry. I want to make sure we break down the main stage, the health pavilion and the career pavilion. And of course, a lot of your sponsors wrap into those locations and really make those events tick.
We've gone to a pavilion concept this year where we wanted not just the health pavilion, we wanted to make sure that we brought the fashion pavilion under one roof. We wanted the auto pavilion would be under one roof. And basically, there will also be workshops held in each pavilion. We've got AARP sponsoring a workshop. We've got McLeod Hill sponsoring a workshop. We've got National Bank of South Carolina sponsoring a workshop. We've got Washington Mutual sponsoring a workshop. So we've got a lot of workshops going on beyond just the fun part of the event. For people who want to know, we've got how to get your book published.
Right.
We've got some authors from across the nation who are going to be coming in to tell young writers and future writers how to get your book published. Our hip-hop summit is a hip-hop music summit, and it's really about talking to people about how to get into the hip-hop business and how to get into the music business and what it takes and what things you need to know when you get there.
How exciting. Golly, y'all have really planned this out. And of course, I'm sure there were a ton of stuff you did last year, but even every year, I guess it'll get better and better.
Well, it's an evolutionary process.
Right.
We look at what we did good last year, and we look at what we could have done a little bit better last year, and we look at the need to get young people involved, especially. We can talk to young people, or we can bring young people into the room and let them see from experience what's really happening.
I'm amazed, Larry, y'all can do it for as reasonable as $5 a person. How can you put all this on? Y'all must be going in the hole to do this.
We want to do it for nothing. We
Right.
really want to do it for nothing. But like you said a second ago, the reality of the situation is when you're bringing in national celebrities, there's a tremendous cost on doing that.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you're covering that cost. But at the same time, if we could do it for absolutely nothing, we would do it for that.
If you had less than a minute to try to drive people there on Saturday the 17th, what's something that you really want to get across to viewers, Larry?
That this is about families. This is a place where you can bring your children, you can bring your grandparents, you can bring your mother, you can bring your father. It's a place to be where there's going to be something going on for everybody all day. Like you said, maybe for that 10 hours and maybe into the 12-hour period, there's going to be something going on that you can buy into, that you can enjoy as a family. And that's a rare occasion in our community these days.
Those are great words. Thanks so much for being with us this morning,
Enjoyed
Larry.
it.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Larry Smith coming up next. You heard him sharing for the last 30 minutes, and he was sharing with his heart the SC Black Family Expo 2005. The subline there, the subtitle, Matters of the Heart. Matters of the Heart. You heard Larry wrap it up. It's all about families, getting families together. That's families of tennis lovers, families of basketball lovers, families of folks that love Howard Hewitt and Davinia McFadden. It's the opportunity to get out there on Saturday, September 17th, from 10 to 6. You heard him talk about being at Wilson High School and coming in. There are some costs associated with the event. The 2005 South Carolina Black Family Expo is out there for you. It's for families of all areas. In the PD, the Strand, southeastern North Carolina, folks from all over the state will be coming in. It's a big day. Saturday, September 17th, 10 to 6, Wilson High School in Florence. Take the time to go online at scblackfamilyexpo.com or give them a call at 843-667-1818, 843-667-1818. It's a day for you.